Did you see they arrested a dude who leaked Starfield playthrough and stole copies from warehouse? Yeah, I mean, like, they should have. I mean, he's stealing. He's like, I mean, like, leaking copies of a video game. Do I want to see somebody go to jail for leaking copies of a video game? Honestly, no. Like, this person's not really a threat to society. They're not, like, putting the rest of society at risk. Like, what is this? Like a fine, yeah, like some form of, like, maybe like a very small period of time in jail, like 30 days or something, maybe, I don't know. But, like, I don't want to have this person's life ruined and then they're on welfare for the rest of their life because we wanted to put them in jail for leaking a video game. But, like, if you're stealing, that's a different situation, right? That's what I'm saying. That's a totally different situation. You're stealing. I mean, I think that, like, there are some cases where non-violent offenders maybe can still... Like, for example, like really bad scam artists and stuff like that are effectively damaging people's lives even though they're not violent. Maybe they should go to jail too. But I think that the bar for that's really high. Yeah, stealing, I mean, I don't know, guys. Like, I'm not a big fan of this whole, oh, well, if you steal from a big company, it's okay because big companies are bad. Get the fuck out of here. If you steal and you're stealing shit, it's wrong. Don't steal shit. As long as he's punished for that, I see no problem. Yeah, exactly. Stealing from billionaires is better than stealing from the poor. But you're not really stealing from billionaires, though, are you? Because, like, billionaires aren't the only people that have stock in a company. So, like, if you steal from a billionaire's company and then everybody else's investment for their 401k goes down because the company loses money through theft, well, then you're not really stealing from billionaires, are you? You're stealing from average people. So it's really not any better. Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think that it's just bad. Like, that's it. It's just stealing. Who gives a fuck about stock? I bet your parents do. Yeah, your parents do. They might have a 401k or they might have some form of investment that they put their money to retire in. And you know, if a company just fucking falls apart for some reason, then yeah, I think that would be bad. Yeah, just don't steal. I mean, it's pretty simple. Can they write off the loss? They can, yeah. I mean, like, to an extent. Like, I don't know the details of this, but, like, writing off a loss, it's not like you just erase it. You know, you don't just, oh, well, we're just going to erase this money. Somebody pays for that. You have insurance and allowance for doubtful debt. They have insurance? Yeah, but like insurance, then somebody pays for it with insurance, right? And if you have an insurance premium, that insurance premium is created by an actuarial table that creates a premium that people pay in order to have their property or their things insured. And everybody's price goes up whenever you have a lot of people stealing because it puts a lot of negatives or a lot of minuses in that actuarial table, which pushes up the premium. That's why, for example, you have people that have expensive cars and their insurance costs more. It's because the repairs cost more. It's because people, especially if you're young with like a really fast car, insurance is a lot. Like, it's again, people, and this is the problem, right? Is that people don't understand how these systems work. They don't see how they're interconnected. So, like, they think that they're just stealing from Rupert Murdoch or, like, one of these billionaires, but you're really not doing that. Like, yeah, of course they have a lot of money and they're invested in it, and yes, partially you're stealing from them, but it's not even a majority from them. Most of these guys, even Elon Musk, right? Like, he doesn't own the majority of Tesla. He doesn't. I think he owns, like, what, 10%? Something like that. Yeah. Insurance companies are incentivized to profit off of you, not to keep you safe. Well, if the insurance companies didn't keep you safe, then nobody would use them, right? Because, like, there are a lot of non-mandatory types of insurance that people still opt into. And I don't think that insurance is about keeping people safe. It's about keeping them secure. Whereas, like, you don't have to worry about something going wrong. Yeah, volcano insurance. Well, I mean, you know, if you live some places, maybe you need that. Yeah, it depends on what those people are done. Yeah, exactly. Most people only opt into mandatory legal insurances, I think. Well, of course they do. And I think that makes sense, right? Like, for example, in a lot of places, collision insurance isn't mandatory. Some places it is, some places it's not. Collision insurance, I'm pretty sure my understanding of that is if you drive into something that's not another car, right? But yeah, most people don't have that. But for the most part, I think that people do want to be insured to an extent, sure. House insurance in Florida is through the roof. It's going to be a crisis. Yeah, exactly. And then so what and again, why does that happen? Well, it's because there are things that damage houses over there. That's what happens. Insurance is simply there to protect your assets. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, a person makes a decision on whether they want to get it or not. It's pretty simple. But yeah, I don't know why, again. I just think that the people that think that they're stealing and that it's just a victimless crime, I wish that they would just... I really dislike the... I dislike the dishonesty of it. I think if you're going to steal something, go ahead. Right? Like, do it. But, like, don't go and steal something and be like, oh, I'm only stealing from, like, bad people. Like, how do you know they're bad? Because of what you read on Twitter? You think that's it? Like, you think that you think you understand the whole thing? Get the fuck out of here. It's like, look, I'm gonna be real. Back in the day, whenever those, like, BLM protests and riots were happening, Austin obviously was a happening place for it, right? Of course it was. And my mom said, man, I'm so glad these riots didn't happen 10 years ago. And I said, why? And she said, because you'd be down there looting with Cody and Jeff and everybody else. And I said, yes, you're completely fucking right. We would absolutely be down there. We'd be recording it, posting it. Absolutely. Yes, 100% we would be doing this. Yeah. Just characterize all human beings into value-based parameters. Because everybody is a value-based parameter to other people. And before, I understand that you might not look at it that way, but everything in your life you do through a value assessment. And I understand that this is hard for people to think of because, you know, people feel like they are like, you know, this important person with intrinsic value, but what really are you? You're just a bag of meat, right? You're a bag of meat that can do certain things. And if you can do certain things, you get a lot of money, and if you can't, then you don't get quite as much. And I think that it's important to keep that in mind because it helps you ground yourself and not get caught up in ideological traps. Everyone is a number. Yes, everybody is a number. You're talking about objectifying people. People are objects. That's just how it is. You know, before there was a machine that stamped things onto a car, there was a person who did what a machine does. That person is effectively an object. And that's what you do. It's not a bad thing either. I don't think that the world is like it's not bad that that's the case. I think that in fact it's kind of freeing in a way that you can look beyond the self and just see the purpose sometimes. I don't know. I'd have to really think about a better way to say that, but that's the closest way that I could say it right now. You know? People got to make money. Yeah, exactly. If you had to pick one thing, what's the hardest thing about being a big streamer? If you want an ironic answer, there's like weird people that will try to like insert themselves into your life and cause problems for you. And I think that's probably the worst thing about it. Like if you want an unironic answer, yeah, parasocial losers, yeah, like I don't really have to deal with that very much because I'm very disconnected from a lot of things, and also like I don't really attract that kind of an audience, right? And I want an ironic answer. Wait, what do you mean by that? Did you see the LA stuff? They're dropping W after W. No, I haven't. I haven't looked at Lost Ark at all, but I saw the numbers going up, or somebody at least told me that they were. You attract the shitheads? No, I don't. I really don't, actually. I feel like a lot of people in my audience are, like, really positive, and, like, it's not an issue. Do you feel making friends is hard whenever you're internet famous? I know you're not very needy whenever it comes to being social. Is it hard to make friends whenever you are internet famous? I don't even know if I'm internet famous, but, like, if you have, like, a popular stream or something like that, is it hard to make friends? For me, I'll be honest, like, I've never had trouble making friends my whole life. Like, anytime I had to go to, like, 2 new schools, because, like, my dad didn't want me going to a shitty school, and, long story, not a big deal, I don't want to talk about the whole thing, right? But, like, I had no problem going to a new school, making new friends, hanging out with people. You know, anytime I went to college, and then I went to community college before then, I didn't really make a lot of friends there because, at least not in community college, because I just went to like 1 or 2 classes and I went home. But I would be friendly with people, and I've never really had trouble making friends with people. Honestly, I never have. And I think that that's because, like, growing up, like, I was always around a lot of other people. And so, and like, my dad kind of taught me, like, just, you know, get along with anybody. You know, don't be a fucking asshole. Don't be weird. And so, yeah, I never really had that trouble. Are you a bit parasocial with your viewers, like in the video by Lucy Pyre? I try not to be. Yeah. Just in friends and buddies. Yeah, but I mean, that's what happens, right? Is like you... I think that it's like a healthy outlook to have on things, that like whenever you are friends with somebody, you know, sometimes you're friends with people at a distance, and that's okay, right? I think that there's always an issue whenever you have people that constantly try to hyperanalyze and overanalyze relationships. Like, for example, there's people that I don't talk to for like 3 years, and I think they're great. I do. I think they're great. I like them a lot, and whenever I see them, you know, at like the grocery store, it's like, oh, what's up, man? I'm so glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. And it's like, yeah, I had a kid, or, you know, I got fucking divorced. It's like, you know, bitches these days, you know how it is. He's like, true, brother. And it's like, yeah, I'll see you around, man. And, you know, maybe I'll see him another time or whatever. It's not that big of a deal, right? I don't know. I think that's just like, that's normal for me. And, you know, I've grown up in the same place my whole life. And so, you know, there's a lot of people that I've known for like over 20 years, right? And I'll just like see them around, and, you know, it's just normal for me. When in 30 plus, you ask people how they're doing, you get crazy different answers. Yeah, exactly. And like, I think that there's a lot of people who are, but you're always an awesome. Yeah, I have. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why, like, I don't really have as much trouble with it. Because, like, I've always been in the same place. So, like, I'm used to just interacting with a lot of different types of people, I guess. Have you ever thought that you're on the autism spectrum? Yeah, probably I am. I would assume so. I never took a test. I never did anything like that. But, yeah, probably. Or, like, Asperger's or something like that. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why, like, especially with, like, streamers and stuff like that, like, with, because, like, streamers, and, like, whenever I'm interacting with people that are, like, kind of a lot like me, I don't really worry about this as much, but, like, with streamers, because, like, streamers can come from all different kinds of, like, lives, you know? So, like, there have been a lot of times where I'll make jokes to people, and, bro, that was not a good thing to say. That was not a good fucking thing to say. And so I always worry about that, because I don't like alienating people. And it's not really like, because if they're not somebody I have to work with, if, like, for example, I say a bad joke and, like, I offend somebody at a grocery store, or, you know, at, like, a random event, I don't really care, you know, because, like, this person's just an NPC. But if this is a person I'm going to potentially have to work with in the future, or do business with, or interact with, then I try to be a little bit more measured, and yeah, I just don't want to deal with it. For sure. They're probably looking to be offended, yeah. Why do you think autism suddenly appeared after thousands of years? Well, it's the same reason cancer did, right? One of the same reasons. It's because most people back in the caveman days didn't get old enough to get cancer. They just fucking died of a toothache. They died of an infection. And they were dead at, you know, 29, at 33 or something like that. So, you know, obviously, whenever your worries are being eaten by a lion, being able to stay alive, you don't have the time to think introspectively. So I would say that's probably one reason. Also, there's probably a certain level of, you know, brain development that's happened over the, I would say, like, probably 5,000 years, stuff like that, like corpus callosum, and, like, you know, connecting the two hemispheres of your brain. And maybe back then, you know, people would hear voices and diagnostics. Yeah, 50,000 years. Is 50,000? It was never just diagnosed until now. Oh, the question marks? Oh, so the corpus callosum is the thing that links the two hemispheres of your brain. And my understanding is that even in, like, towards the very end of our written history, right? Like 5,000, like somewhere around, like, years ago, like maybe a little bit less than that, it wasn't fully formed. in people's brains. 50,000, give or take. It could have been that way, too. Yeah, it could have been that much. I just don't really know. But anyway, I think that could probably be a bit of it. And then also another reason why is that I think people self-diagnose a lot more nowadays. Because most people that say that they're autistic, like, how do they know they're autistic? Well, they took a test on the internet that said they're autistic. That's how. So they have autism now. Like, that's it. And or somebody told them that they're autistic. And that's just it. There are a lot of people that self-diagnose themselves with mental disorders or things like that. And so there's that. And I think also, technology has evolved so fast that I don't think that people are... There's a term for this. I don't remember what the term is. But there's a term that refers to the amount of people that you can realistically have in your life and be keeping track of. And that number is between 150 and 200. And for an average person, right? Somebody says 300. I've heard 150 to 200, but sure. It's like, yes, it's your monkey sphere. And this is how many monkeys most other monkeys know. And that's just how it is. Dunbar's number? Yeah, something like that. And I think that you have people that are just like hyper exposed to... They're hyper exposed to environments like that all the time, people constantly. And I don't think that people's brains are like programmed to deal with that. So like, yeah, I think technology evolving really fast, it kind of, it like pulls up the ladder on a lot of people that are like a little bit socially awkward, and it makes it even worse for them because they're not able to adapt into culture. And then I think it gets worse too. Careful, Ted. No, I mean, if we're talking about the Unabomber, like, it's not really the same thing, right? But it's like kind of in the same vein. And a lot of people wouldn't talk about him if there wasn't at least some element of like I wouldn't really say truth in what he said. Of course not. But like, there's something to it. And I think that there's an element of it. If that makes sense. Crippling social anxiety? Yeah, exactly. Nothing changed about our brains 50k years. Many scientists believe that you could steal a Cro-Magnon's child in our times, and you couldn't tell the difference. Really, I've heard other things. Maybe I could be wrong. I really like it's not like I'm not going to argue with you about this because I don't have the expertise. It's just what I've heard. But anyway, I think that's another reason, right? Is that you're not able to interact with people as much as you probably would. Like as a kid, I bet like, in the 1950s, for example, and especially like in the 1850s, like you couldn't go on computer, right? You couldn't go on the internet. You couldn't go on TV. You couldn't go on anything, right? You would just have to deal with it. And I think that more social interaction, especially like whenever you're younger, probably makes it easier for you to not have those type of like social defects. Because I do think social defects like that manifest themselves way more, and they get way worse whenever people get older and then they don't have the type of socialization to, what do you call it? To counteract them. You couldn't be a little hoe back in the day? Well, you could, but you just had to have the right parents. No Reddit, so people are just going outside and kill birds. Yeah, basically, right? Exactly. And then also, the scope of like what you can interact with and what you can do was like much smaller, right? Like you think about all of the little nuances to life nowadays that probably didn't exist 1,000 years ago. No, I'm sure they had different nuances, but the nuances were much more visceral. So yeah, I don't know. Like there's probably a lot to it. Autism is not just social ineptitude. Yeah, I know that, but I think that that's one of the ways that people measure it, and I think that's especially the biggest way that people measure it in terms of self-diagnosing. I think most people self-diagnose themselves with autism or something similar to that, like Asperger's, whenever they feel like they have trouble connecting with people socially. It's also capitalism punishes people with the wrong kind of neurodivergency, where other forms of society it's not as much. Really? So you think that people, like, I don't know. I mean, like, capitalism punishes people with neurodivergency. I mean, I would say, like, there is probably a bit of truth to that, but, like, the truth to that is actually even worse than what capitalism is. Because back in the day, you would have, like, kings that were, like, inbred and had, like, mental problems and stuff like that, and they would send their soldiers out to die. Or they would do absolutely fucking terrible things and, like, get millions of people killed. So, I don't really think that that's really that good of an idea. Like, everybody likes to blame capitalism, but the truth is that the problem is, like, just people. The reason I connect with people is because they're fucking idiots. I think that's some reasons, yeah. I want to be specific, it's the wrong kind of neurodivergency. If you're a psychopath or a non-violent one, you can go further. No, I don't think that's true either. I think most people that are psychopaths are probably in jail. Like, what you're talking about is, like, a very, very small sliver of people that are, like, high-functioning, high-IQ psychopaths. They work in finance. So here's just a little bit of information here to prove my point. And so by popularity cited estimate, up to 25% of America's prison people meet the criteria diagnosis for psychopathy. 1 in 5 is considered psychopathic. Much higher. Much, much higher. You said most psychopaths are in jail? No, I didn't. I said that most psychopaths are not more successful because they're psychopaths. That's actually what I said. Just admit you're wrong. It's a bad way to bolster arguments. No, I'm not really sure. Impossible to quantify. Gaslight Asmon. What's going on? Sorry, I'm a little bit confused. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. No one's right all the time. Okay. Give me a minute. It's so... This is so... Why are people so weird about this? Like, I'm just gonna ban people for this kind of stuff. What is this? What are you guys doing? I said most people. So the person... This is what I said, right? Jesus Christ. It's just words. Yes, disagree ban. No, it's just... It's the patronizing language of it. Why so serious? Yes, why are people being so serious? It's so obnoxious. So the person said in chat, they said that he says that people that are psychopaths are going to be more successful because they have a certain type of neurodivergency. And I said that's not true. And what I was trying to say is that a lot of people that are psychopaths are probably in jail. I think a lot of them probably are. Absolutely. Especially the ones that act on their behavior. You said most? Most. I mean, it's hard to say. Also, there's also a lot in management. I just, it's so weird to me that somebody thinks that, like, a asshole manager at Walmart is an actual psychopath. Somebody's not a psychopath because they're an asshole manager. Yeah, like, it's like such an insane thing to say. Many CEOs are? How do you know that? 4 out of 5 are in jail. The rest are CEOs, basically. 4 out of 5. Well, I don't know about 4 out of 5. I didn't see that. The intelligent ones are sociopathic. The psychos usually act on their aggression and get caught. Yeah, that's what my understanding is of it, too. What did the band dude say? It was just like one of these people that tries to, you know, take what I say and then turn it into something that I didn't say and then be like, oh, well, it's okay to be wrong because you're wrong. No, I'm not. What do you mean? The key component of the definition of psychopath is abnormal, violent social behavior. Yeah, I would assume that a lot of those people are in jail. Seems like more of a common sense thing that isn't really true at all. Thinking that psychopathy predicts success. Yeah, I think so too. And I think the reason why people say stuff like that is because it makes them feel better for why they're not in a good position. Because, like, at that point, they feel like, okay, everybody who's ahead of me is like a psycho or something like that, or crazy, or like a bad person, effectively. And, like, the reason why I'm not more successful in life is because I'm not a bad person, if that makes sense. 25% of people in prison are diagnosed psychopaths or similar diagnosis, which is a really solid amount if you think about it. It is. It is a tremendous amount. Like I said, I think I was unclear. Most extremely successful people have some spectrum of psychopathy. Where did you get this information? Most extremely successful. Where did you get this? Where did you find this? It's a saying. I doubt it has validity. I just think that it's stuff I remember hearing from NPR and Factually Podcast. I don't know how you could possibly diagnose that. Like, because, like, what is, like, successful people, like, okay, so, some podcast said this happened. I highly doubt this. He's right, there's ample literature on this, trust me, bro. Okay, well then I want to see it. I think that's what happens with a lot of people, too. Is that they'll see somebody who's an asshole, and then they'll think the person who's an asshole is a psychopath. I'm not diagnosing. I'm going by interviews with experts and stuff. Okay, well, let's find out. So fucking annoying. Okay. Let's take this and let's look it up on Google. Let's see if this is true. Let's see here. The fuck is this? 12% of corporate leaders are psychopaths. So 12%, okay. So that's the only number that we see here. I just think that it's a ridiculous assertion. To be honest, that's 10x the actual, the average incidence of psychopathy. It could be, yeah, I don't know. Try with sociopath? Oh, I think that there's a lot of people, and this is the issue, right? Is that the term psychopath is not widely used by any respected source since ages ago? Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Argument CEOs have a higher chance of being psychopathic traits because they'll do anything and step on anyone to get their position. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of people that are like that. I just think that, like, that line of thinking is just it's just like a negative cope that people have to shit on people that are more successful than they are, so they can feel better about being less successful. I don't really think that it's based in any real truth. I think that it's just based in what people believe to be true. That's basically where I'm going with this. Is that they're basically just saying this because it makes them feel better about their situation. That's an anti-capitalism cope. Yeah, exactly. Let's see this. So when somebody Asmongold will call, they play with each other anymore. By far, it's mostly entertaining and funny content whenever they're together. Most of them just arguing. Best content on Twitch. Honestly, like, one of the reasons why there's not really a lot of, like, big reasons or anything like that about this. Whenever I'm streaming, I'm usually so socially exhausted because of other people in, like, my life that I can't get away from, that by the time that I get home, I don't really want to talk to or interact with anybody. Like, that's really the truth. Like, I'm completely socially drained at pretty much all times. Like, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to be around anybody because, like, I'm just stressed out constantly. The same way after work? Yeah, exactly. This is literally Google. Both estimates suggest that psychopaths are far more prevalent in corporate management than in general population, about 3.5 to 12 times more, and that they may be even more common in top office, with one analysis finding 1 in 5 CEOs could be a corporate psychopath. So is a corporate psychopath different than an actual psychopath? Because you added the corporate to it? I don't know. I think that, like, I don't know why people are trying so hard to push, like, oh, 20% is most. No, it's not. It's not even close to most. If you doubled it, wouldn't be most. Just check your thyroid just in case. Why would I check my thyroid? No, I'm just exhausted with dealing with people. Yeah. But yeah, that's the main reason why I don't really do a lot of stuff or, like, collab with anybody hardly at all, is that I'm just, like, so socially drained from just, like, having to deal with people every day that whenever I get on my stream, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to be around anyone I just want to go and I want to sit in my house by myself and not talk to anybody. Straight up. That's it. Like, and like, there's no, like, I mean, obviously I should do more stuff with other people, but it's just so hard for me to bring myself to do that whenever I'm just so socially drained from the rest of my life. Just want to give you a bunch of jalapeno poppers. I don't know. Are you happy with that? No, I'm not, but I can't get out of it. Yeah. Like, I can't get away from it. I can't get out of it. That's it. My social battery drains very fast. Yeah. This one talks about social exhaustion and interaction with people. I mean, it's clearly talking about something psychological. Yeah, that's really the way that I feel about it. Take a little bit of a break to give yourself peace. Mental health is important. Well, what I'm saying is that, like, what I'm saying about this is that I don't, like, I am taking a break right now. Like, at this very moment, I am taking a break. Like, I am relaxing. I am totally chill. I've been looking forward to streaming all day. And, like, I got up at, like, 5 p.m., something like that. And if I didn't have anything else to do, I would have been live 5 hours ago or something like that. Maybe we need a girlfriend or emotional outlet for a healthy relationship. No, what I need is I just need to not have people that I need to interact with every day. That's what I need in my life. I need to not have to deal with shit. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to improve. It's not like there's a magic solution to this. I just need to be alone. That's it. I need to be alone. I don't want to talk to people. That's it. It's not like I don't need a girlfriend. I'm not going to buy a cat. I have my own internal peace. And this is something that seemingly nobody else in the world has. I am a full jigsaw puzzle. I don't need another person to come in and fill in my empty pieces. I am happy. I can wake up in the morning and I can be happy. I don't need anybody else to do that. It might be weird to explain this, but like I genuinely enjoy my life. Are there negative things? There are very bad things. There's all these bad things in my life, but I'm still happy to have it. Yeah, I'm very happy, and I can choose what I do. I can have I can have my freedom to do what I want to do. Like my like an outlook on my life that I kind of have is that if you can't do what you want to do, then why are you? Why do you exist if all you do is things that other people want you to do? And I want to just exist in my own life, and I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to hurt anybody else. I don't want anybody else to hurt me. I just want to be left alone. And that's all. That's it. I like making my streams. I like doing my videos. I have no problem with you guys that like will sometimes send me messages and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me. It's not your fault. These are people in my actual, like my personal, interpersonal life. And I've gotten a lot older, and I've realized that more about myself over the years. And it's been hard for me to reconcile that with like responsibilities I have, people that need my help, etc. It's really, really hard. And I would say most of the time, whenever I feel like my mood is like sour, the reason why my mood is sour is because I'm around other people. The more I am around other people, the more of an asshole I become, and the more I am by myself, the happier and more at peace I am. That's it.